Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Diane Chabon, and we know in the state of Michigan, the big focus of the Whitmer administration of late, one of those big focuses has been driving businesses to come into Michigan and keeping our businesses right here in the Great Lakes State. Playing a big role in that is Oakland County, what's becoming a bit of a destination for businesses worldwide looking to move to the United States. So much so that CNBC has listed the state of Michigan as one of the top 10 states for doing business in the United States of America. Joining us to explain why that is the case is Dr. Michael Greiner, Assistant Professor of Management at Oakland University School of Business Administration. Dr. Greiner, thanks for being with us today.
It's great to be here, Tyler, and great to see you, Diane.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on the program with us, Dr. Greiner. Michigan, a top 10 state in America for businesses to both move into and to maintain in the U.S. at this time. Why is Michigan in that top 10? What is standing out and making Michigan one of the best places in that top of those 5 tiers, let's say, going by tens in the U.S.?
Yeah, you know, I really like this survey. It's actually data that I've used in my research in the past, and I think it's actually very useful because it's not subjective. They actually look at objective ratings, and some of the places where Michigan really popped up to the top include things like cost of living, cost of doing business. Those things I think most of us kind of have a sense of, but really interesting that I think would surprise a lot of people is tech and innovation. We're actually in, I think, number 12 spot there, which is quite impressive. And it has a lot to do with the fact that Michigan really is a center of innovation in some growing industries, particularly when you're looking at auto with the EVs and the batteries and all that stuff that's going on. You know, we're really a center for that right now, and you can see that with the investment that we've been getting.
And part of what has made Michigan one of these best states, you mentioned tech and innovation, cost of doing business is ranked relatively high, being business friendly too. And business friendly wasn't necessarily something that was a label for Michigan, even in the last couple of years. What has changed and put Michigan currently, by this survey, number 15 in the country?
Yeah, you know, they've really made a focus of it, frankly. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It's the administration has made a priority out of it, and they've really reached out to business and tried to figure out what are some of the issues that are standing in the way of businesses coming here. And Michigan has also been very aggressive in trying to essentially offer incentives to try to get businesses to come here. And there's one set of research, and I think we've talked about this in the past, that shows that Michigan is actually #1 for investment when it comes to green manufacturing and research facilities, with over $2 billion in investment over the past year. So I think it really shows that that at least we're doing some things right here in Michigan.
And in terms of tech and innovation playing a big role in this, Oakland County also playing a big role, I would imagine, in padding some of these numbers for the state of Michigan. We know that there are businesses from all over the world that are moving to Oakland County to start their business because of the automotive industry, the electric vehicle infrastructure that is already here in southeastern Michigan and in Oakland County, and the tech connections that are here in Oakland County. So what sort of role does our local area play in making Michigan in this top 10 of the top 50 rankings?
A huge role. And you know, one of my heroes in my field, his name is Michael Porter. He's a Harvard professor, and he talks about the fact that states have to establish centers of excellence to kind of compete on a global scale. And when it comes to Michigan, and particularly Oakland County, you know, auto is really a center of excellence. You know, people come from all over the world to get access to the expertise that we've got here. And when you look at the schools that we've got, like, for example, my school, Oakland University, we have really focused on trying to develop the kind of talent that will continue to support that. And so as a result of that, you've seen businesses from around the world coming here. You know, I think it's not worth ignoring, too, that one of the primary, in fact, I think the top issue that this survey looked at in terms of something that businesses are interested in is workforce. You know, do we have the kind of skilled workers available that the employers are looking for? And, you know, I was kind of disappointed with Michigan's ranking there. I mean, I think we're number 24, so in the top half, but still not quite where we'd like to be. But it just shows that, the fact that we have the kind of workers that automakers and these tech companies then looking to expand into EVs and into the automatic driving, that all these new technologies, which are really kind of generating a lot of excitement in Silicon Valley, really the expertise to get them done are located here in Michigan and Oakland County.
We got Diane Shaban with us too. It looked like, Diane, you may have had a question for Dr. Greiner. You want to chime in here quick a moment?
Yeah, sure. I was wondering regarding our county, what do you think is the role of Oakland County in all of this, in putting Michigan forward? What do we have here in our county that's promoted Michigan as a whole?
Well, again, I mean, I think that it's a statewide effort for sure, but Oakland County is really the leading county in the in the state, I would say, certainly in terms of innovation, location of headquarters of major corporations. I mean, of course, we've got Stellantis just about a block away from my university, and a whole host of companies. As you drive up and down I-75, you can just see one headquarters after another, and businesses like to be located close to where other business is happening. That's why another factor that this survey looks at very critically is the overall economy and the infrastructure that's available in the area. And the fact that we do have so much economic activity here in Oakland County kind of builds on itself. And again, that relationship then that you have with government kind of playing a role to encourage business investment, which the state has been very aggressive in, as has Oakland County, as well as also having the universities like of course, my university, Oakland University, and for that matter, we can't understate also the impact of the community colleges. OCC, we've talked about before on this show, really a leading university in terms of retention, student retention, and trying to encourage people to come there and continue their educations afterwards. So all those things have an impact and make this really a very attractive place for businesses to locate.
That's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible what we got here, and we should know more about our county and contribute more to our county as well. Tyler, back to you.
My apologies, I pressed the wrong button there. But yeah, to continue on, there's so much good in this store, and I hate to take a step back and look at some of the not so good in there. And you mentioned 24th in workforce in the state of Michigan, 24th in health, life, and inclusion. But then you get into the bottom half of the metrics, and what stands out the most for me is that we are 36th in education as a three-way tie between Michigan, Florida, and Hawaii. And so while it's a great place, it seems, by these metrics to move a business, to operate a business, and to innovate in your business, that future may not look so good based on these numbers. What is Michigan in need of doing to improve in some of those areas going forward to maintain this standing as top 10 and, better yet, move up?
Yeah, I'm with you there, Tyler. And that data point really jumped out at me as well, as does, by the way, the one that I think is related to it closely, which is life, inclusion, and health. And I think that Michigan does have a bit of a problem. I mean, young people are, in many cases, moving away from the state. We don't have the kind of attractive state to move to that, say, the #1 state in the country, North Carolina has, where people want to move there because of the nice climate and the various things to do, the nice urban areas. I mean, I think that everybody here in Michigan is well aware of the fact that we've got some work to do to make this a more attractive state for people to live in. Certainly cost of living is a great strength here. And I can tell you that as I've talked with other potential faculty members, people thinking of moving here to Michigan to work at Oakland University, and we recruit people from around the world for those positions. One selling point is the fact that they can live very well here relative to certain other states based upon the salary that we receive. But that being said, we also don't have access to a lot of things that really make it an people want to live there. We do have some decent urban areas, but certainly nothing like you'd have, say, in New York, for example, or in California, or again, in North Carolina. We don't have the kind of public transportation that you see in some other places. So that's something that really weighs down on us. And the education really shows that, Michigan over the past few years, we have been disinvesting in education, and we've really got to turn that around. And I think one thing that is encouraging, that I think shows that the current administration understands this is a problem, is in their most recent budget, you can see that they had a big increase in funding for education. So my hope is that moving forward, we're going to see us jump up in that in that category. But really, that's something to be worried about in the long run, because unless we are educating the workers to stay here, and unless we are keeping them here, then after they graduate from college, then that really hurts us in the most important category, which of course is workforce. And up until now, at least with auto, that's been one of our strengths. But, will that continue to be the case? I don't know, unless we can really improve in those categories.
Dr. Michael Greiner from Oakland University joins us on today's edition of The Splash Live. We're talking about America's top states for business in 2023, a ranking made on a weighted scale every year by CNBC. Michigan standing at number 10. That is second in the Midwest behind Minnesota at number 5, the top 3 states in the union. North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. All these have different strong points and different weak points. We mentioned some of Michigan's, but what's interesting, and to wrap things up today, Dr. Greiner, I just want to talk to you about why you even said you use this survey year after year in your research. It is done in a special way by CNBC. It is on a weighted scale, and it's not subjective, quite scientific, in fact.
Yeah, it is. They do a great job with this. And, what they're able to do is kind of gather together data from a number of sources. In fact, I was just looking at the list of all the sources of data that they've got. I think they've got like 50 different sources of data. And each one, again, is objective. I mean, they will look at things like, for example, the amount of time, this is one example of something, the amount of time that people on average are without power in the state, just to give you an idea of kind of how deeply they're drilling down in these things. And when they look at, like cost of doing business, they go much deeper than just, kind of looking at the kind of the top level data of how much taxes do businesses pay, but in a whole host of other things. For example, also with infrastructure, they look at, for example, the number of people living within 5 hours drive of the state. It's really amazing the level that they've gone through in this. And again, nothing is subjective where they're kind of asking people their opinion about the state. Every one of them is some measurable data point where they're able to essentially quantify something that the state offers to businesses. And these are the things that businesses have said that really matter to them. And again, I think it's worth emphasizing that the number one of all these things, people sometimes emphasize, we need to cut taxes or we need to, have this impact. But the number one is workforce. Number 2 is infrastructure. Number 3 is economy. None of those are just reducing taxes. So I think that it's important to note that, that the goal should be to try to increase the overall attractiveness of the state to business rather than simply trying to rely on one measure or another.
And that is what makes this such an interesting scale and such an interesting ranking each and every year. That's always changing year in and year out. You can find that full list on CNBC.com. Dr. Greiner, thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here and great to see both of you.